Right, so right now I'm doing a stream I planned to do earlier on, and because of, well, a couple of things. I'd just like to say that the Class 31 didn't really work out so well for this stream, so I've decided I'm going to take the plunge. I'm going to finally drive the 2CAT. And I shouldn't have really said Class 2CAT on the stream, original title anyway. I'll change that, but for all intents and purposes I'm driving the F40PH-2CAT today, which is an American train, and it's pretty nice. It's pretty alright. It's, to be completely honest, it's decent, right? I am going to be hauling some passenger cars. I am going to be stopping at each station, but because of the loading process on Peninsula Corridor, where the locomotive is actually from, I'm not feeling up to sitting there and waiting. So what I've done is I've basically turned passenger loading off, which you can do. You can make it so that when you do stop somewhere you don't have to, you know, unload and load passengers. Which is good if you want to keep moving. Not so good if you want to actually pick up passengers. I'm sick of... I'm absolutely sick of slurring my words, honestly. Though something just suggests to me that it might be dental related, that problem. Anyway, here I am in the 2CAT, and what I'll do is I'll share the link around and make sure that people know about stuff, and then if they want to come by, they can come by. But I'm just gonna drive the 2CAT. Now I'm not sure how to really set up any safety systems on this. I don't think it really has any. So what I'm going to do is basically do the basics. Now there is probably some switching here. Now I'm not that experienced with this, so please be patient. I think the alerter is actually part of a safety system or something. Yeah. Gauge lights, yeah, that's ideal. Not that I'm really going to be using the automatic brakes. Controlling fuel pump yet. Engine run should be on. Generator fuel should be on. Maybe that was a problem before. Bright headlights. Headlights front, yep. Okay, would it actually work? I think that is the master key, basically, in this thing. Do we have lights? We do have lights. That's important. Releasing the automatic brake, all the other brakes should be off. And I put it into forward. Welcome Hope. I'm trying to drive the 2CAT and I'm trying to remember how to get it to move, basically. It does say we still got brakes on, which kind of worries me because I don't know how to turn them off again. Also, it's very loud in my headset, so I'm going to turn down the volume on that. Just done that. And that's the brake. Coolio. So there's something back here that's important. Front marker light here. Isolation switch hidden. Fuse cabinet. Why do I need that? Yep. Okay, I don't think anything else matters. So let me just see what applying brakes does. Ah, that's the brake. Okay. Independent brake. Huh. There we go. So maybe I have to do that every single time. See if I can actually get it moving though, that's important. Nope. Nope, nope, no. Didn't get it moving. It's a pain. Why? You know, I'm still not familiar with this thing. Pretty sure I can get it to work on its own. Look. Oh! Oh no. I'm not moving. So why... Is it the fact that the rear car is actually able to move on its own? And that it's got a handbrake on and I just don't know it? Okay, I'll do... Same thing again, just not with that one. There we go. And now wait. Damn it. Now I did have my dentist appointment today. So that was the thing that happened today. Yesterday, I had planned to do a stream yesterday. Something got in the way. I was hoping, I guess, clear some anxiety about the appointment today in that stream, but to be honest I was so distracted with what actually came up that that I didn't really need to. And I just kind of forgot about the whole thing. So let's try and release all of this. Headlights. Yep. Okay. Can I move it? This is a good question. Yes, I can. Get off. Okay, I can move it. This is good. Now I want the independent brake on this thing, because I don't trust the automatic one. I don't trust the automatic one because it's just not clear on a couple of things. It involves letting air into the system and then sort of applying the pressure. I'm speeding a bit. No, I don't trust the braking systems other than the independent brake because that one's quite strong. It gives me all the braking power I could ever ask for. Driving American trains, something I'm not super familiar with because everything is just different. I'm kind of surprised about how different it is, really. Not just in terms of how it looks, but also how it operates, really. Every single switch is doing something that I either don't understand yet, or that I'm afraid to touch because, once again, I don't understand what it does. Now, the developers do make manuals for all of the trains thus far that they've released. This one is covered in the guide for Peninsula Corridor, which is the DLC related to it. And I might go check that out and see if I can learn a bit more about how to use this particular train properly. But right now I just can't do that, I'm driving. But at least it's not the one from NEC New York. At least it's not that one. That one was a pain to drive. Quite bad. If only because of its brakes. No problem. I'll still be doing stuff. It was only really a problem because of its brakes. Otherwise it was perfectly fine as it was. And this is a very strange view to have of the railway because we are in an American train. We are on the right hand side of the cab rather than the left where we would be in England, and obviously AWS doesn't work. The magnets just don't have anything to give information to. We do clip to the top of these bridges a little bit. AWS is a system. Yes, it can be enabled on a train, but if the track doesn't have it, it doesn't work. And similarly, if the train doesn't have it, nothing on the track will react with it. And when they do say that you can operate any train anywhere, they do really mean that. You won't get the full functionality, like I said. If the track has AWS and your train just doesn't have it, then, well, you're not going to be able to use that function. So it might try and simulate having a safety system if it doesn't rely on anything on the tracks, but if it does, then it definitely will not work. If the infrastructure isn't there to support it, it just won't end up doing anything. Now, when people are talking in the stream, I'll talk about my appointment and what was said and what... It's not really a terrible thing. It's not as bad as I thought it might be. We're stopping at Dinsdale. Okay. Also, I remember saying in a video prior, I can't remember which one it is. I may have said it, may not. I said that Saltburn and Darlington are near to Newcastle. Yes, they are near to it, but they're not in the same kind of... They're not in the same region as Newcastle. So I was sort of thinking... nobody doing the tutorials for Tees Valley Line has a Geordie accent, you know, something from Newcastle. And then I looked it up and it says, oh, it's not actually in Newcastle, it's North Yorkshire. Okay, well that explains it a bit more then. And I didn't know that off by hand, also I'm probably going to miss this. Just barely, yeah. All I'm really doing in this is stopping at each station, but I'm not actually going to be picking up passengers. Because we have no carriages or anywhere to put them. This is just me sort of scouting the route, finding out how long it takes to get from one end to the other. It really is there and back to see how far it is, sort of levels here. And I'll need to remember that we started at 17:10, so 5:10. I'll try and find the rough point where I set off later on in the video. When it actually uploads to YouTube, I can sort of examine it a lot more and figure out how long it takes to get from one station to another. Because without having the sort of line speeds and the average speeds, I can't really work that out. And I'm only doing that because I'm laying out some routes that I could do for future videos separately. I have a system. I basically go into a spreadsheet, I make a spreadsheet with all the routes on. I pick a start point and an end point, and then I go from there. And then I assign a train to that I'm going to be using. And that's either for a pre-recorded video or it's going to be for a stream. Usually the ones for a stream are pretty long. And we are going along the whole of Tees Valley line here. So it is going to be a pretty long thing. And I don't actually remember when I started this. Well, 20 minutes ago, basically. Which means that a bunch of the clocks in the house are a little bit out, basically. Not really going to be trying to start and stop in the right place, because that's a little bit pointless, in all honesty. I hate the bell. I hate the bell. I hate the bell. Oh look, there's the Class 66. Now that is a train that I know my way around. That's how you turn the bell off. And I don't think there's any other button that does it. So even if I try now... Nope. No other button on my controller does anything. I have to actually reach down and look at it and then press to turn it off. And that's quite annoying because the horn... It is something I like to do just to break up the monotony, but do you really want to listen to that the whole way? I don't think so. Now if I didn't know how to turn it off, we'd be pretty much stuck with it. And I did accidentally find out. By find out I mean I pressed every single button in the cab to see if it would turn it off, and by magic, or by I was quite annoyed actually. The bell button to turn it on is there, but there's one to turn it off there. However, it doesn't say bell on or off, it just says bell. So unless you knew that this button here is separated into two, you would never know that there's an off button there. And no, it does not cover it in the tutorial, and I think it should. I think a lot more things should be covered in the tutorials for every single train, because each one has its own quirk that will maybe drive you up the wall. And this is the one for American trains. It's how to turn the bell off when you blare the horn, because they are connected together, and I don't think there is a way to turn it off. I remember in Train Sim World 1, I used to press one of the directional buttons to get it to turn off, I think. But because I'm using the immersive controls, I've sort of gotten used to those. What ends up happening is no button on the controller will work. If you see me reach down during the scream, it's to turn the bell off. But other than that, most things I'm fine with. Now I do think I may be able to get Southeastern High Speed on the 4th of February, because I do actually have enough money left for it. And then, well, I'm not going to be able to stop in time here. Nope. I'm going to have to reverse. Right, reverse? Can I go into reverse? Is the down directional button just not working very well? Maybe. That might be the case. Yes, I know that there's a red signal in however many yards. No, still in reverse. Forward. Thank you. Right. Okay, what was I even saying? So I would be able to get Southeastern High Speed. I do have enough money for it in my account. The price would be £24.99, which is £25. However, if another locomotive drops at the same time, then I won't be able to get that second locomotive, because the prices of those can go up to about £12 basically, and I don't have enough for that plus the DLC itself. So I may have a choice to make if they drop a locomotive at that time. It's unlikely that they will. Oh, there's the class 47 going past. But yeah, it is unlikely that they will drop a locomotive at the same time as the DLC. At least it looks that way. May turn out to be totally different. I'm going to keep missing these, aren't I? Oh. It's perfectly fine with that. Although it is quite chilly in this room. Meep, welcome, Matt Black. I'm driving an American train because kill me. I tell a lie, it's not that bad, but still, I'm not used to it. quite a nice thing. At least it looks fairly nice. So whenever I do get the next DLC, I will do a video on it, a stream with any luck, so I can show you it all live. Welcome back, Hope. I can show it all live in a stream. LMAO, yes. American trains. This is the interior. And if you can make any sense of this, then I think you deserve a degree in, I don't know, astrophysics, because it looks very complicated. I have no idea what any of that does back here. Probably really does nothing, because there are some switches that don't do anything, and then there are also switches that definitely do something. And if you press the wrong one, good luck if you don't know what it does. Though, does the brake gauge actually change on that? No, it does not. I think this is the gauge that it's, yeah. Stopping at Thornaby, which is a name. But welcome back, Hope, in case you didn't catch that bit. I am yawning because it has been a day. I went to my appointment. Everything is not fine, but it's not a tumour or anything cancerous. And if it is, they will find out later on, because they are going to be doing some removal of teeth, shall we say. That kind of whistling sound, if that's supposed to be a bird. I don't know what bird sounds like that. Never heard a bird sound like that. So they will be removing, yes, that face. They will be removing all of the teeth that I currently have. That means I'm going to have a set of dentures made. Though only about a week or so after I've had them out. I'm glad it isn't bad, just take it day by day, you'll be okay. Thank you. But did you hear that I'm having them all out? All the teeth that I currently have. Which means I will have none. But that's not too bad if they want to make me a set of dentures that actually fit this time. But I did have a partial set made last time when they took a load of them out. That one doesn't fit, and so I haven't used it. And to be honest, really, they should have removed all of them last time, but they didn't really have the foresight to know. You said you'll be getting dentures, that's better than what's going on now, I'd assume. What's going on now is it's an infection behind one of my teeth that is loose, and at the end it needs to be removed. It has to be removed because it's infected. It will just keep on coming back, and it will eventually create a cyst because it will continue to eat away at the bone that's at the roof of my mouth, the palate I think it's called, if we want to get technical about it. That's why it causes a lump. The infectious whatever is trying to get out of the cavity it's created, and it chooses the roof of my mouth as the way to get out. But the problem is it's continuously infected, which means it will never get out, which means it will keep eating away at the bone, which means it will cause a cyst, which is incredibly painful and will lead to just more infections of everything else. So it has to be removed, that one tooth, and I thought, you know what, might as well take the whole lot out because they're all fucked. I'm not really bothered about not having any teeth left. It's just a matter of, I have to go out again, hooray. I spent all day walking around the dental institute, which is actually more of a hospital, to be honest. Did they give me antibiotics? No, they did not. They didn't actually. I don't think antibiotics would help. I mean, they didn't prescribe me any when they thought it was an infection before. That's the first time I went to a dentist. They had a look at it and they thought, oh, that's an infection. Is that for the bridge being raised? Yeah, probably. That alarm there. But basically, they're coming out. If they don't think it needs antibiotics, they won't give it, because they really do try not to use antibiotics anymore, because they've realised that bacteria and viruses become more resistant to antibiotics, and it's very expensive to develop them so that they can effectively outsmart the infection itself. That's why they try not to use them anymore. Before, about 10 years ago, yes, they would have definitely just given you antibiotics and said, here, take them, go home. But now they've realised that actually we shouldn't be using these too often, because the bacteria will develop a resistance to what we currently use, in which case we have to change everybody over to the new strain of antibiotics, which is basically, I believe it's bacteria that kill other bacteria. Can't be super sure on that. But yeah, they've just stopped really giving them out willy-nilly to everybody who's got an infection somewhere. But you know, going to the dental institute wasn't bad. I was lucky to have 3 dental nurses in one room tending to me. Though it is an institute, so that means that not many people who work there are actually qualified dentists. Most of them are students, and they're kind of learning on the job. They'd never let a student perform surgery, they'd never let them do anything that would end up badly if it was done wrong. And they always do consult the proper dentist, have I done this right, yes or no. I thought that's great. that they're learning on the job, and they actually get to tend to real patients, not just do exercises in a book, or however medicine works these days. So after they basically said, okay, we think this is an infection, please go to have it photographed, they photograph the ulcer itself, and then they take me to the X-ray department. They get an X-ray and they confirm that yes, it is eating away at the bone, and yes, it is an infection and it does need to go. Which is fine and dandy by me. Because of the pandemic, they made you walk a certain way around the hospital, and they led you out a different door than the one that you came in. It wasn't that far away from the main door anyway. At the end of the day, I'm just glad I don't have to go out again anytime soon. I need to see a dentist soon. I have to get my fillings redone, see if my wisdom teeth will continue to grow, and fix this one chipped tooth I've got. They really should remove the wisdom teeth. That's what they did with mine. Mine just don't exist. Mine came through quite early, and they were removed with the rest. Fix this one chipped tooth. Well, fillings don't really last that long. You're scared of what? Having them removed. Because I've had everything in the dental handbook done to me, other than having them quote unquote whitened. Which I can tell you right now, if you ever see a celebrity with perfect white teeth, they have had them whitened. They weren't always like that. 9 times out of 10, nobody's teeth are that white by the time they reach the age of, what, 30. They've all had them whitened, which is apparently an expensive procedure, but it clearly works, because, you know, the result. Oh, another train. My right wisdom grew a bit, but isn't bothersome, but my left one is teeny tiny. It's strange that they grow at different rates. Are you scared of having them removed, or scared that they're going to grow more and cause pain? If you do have them removed, they don't just pull it. Both. If you do have it removed, they don't pull it anymore. And I really think we do need to stop doing the whole scene in a movie where someone's in a dentist chair and they just pull it, because they don't. They really don't do that. That's pretty much against every aspect of modern science, or medicine in general. Pulling it would most likely, they will numb it up, but usually what they do is they break it and then try and extract it that way. But because it's a wisdom tooth, they will probably try and put you to sleep and have it done that way. Because to remove all my back teeth, they had to put me to sleep because they really couldn't get in whilst I was awake. Though I woke up just fine. I wasn't sick like they usually say I was just kind of... It felt like I'd just been asleep. Normally. I'd just woken up. I was in a grumpy mood though, I didn't really speak. It was like, you fucking bastards, you woke me up. What the hell are you doing? But, yeah. I'd say having them removed is the best bet because then they don't get infected and they don't continue to cause pain. Or any other problems. If you're worried about them growing, I think eventually what will happen is they will grow. Otherwise they'll just sit there, but even if they do sit there, it's likely to cause some sort of problem. I don't know if you can pretty much get away with not having any problems when you've got wisdom teeth still in another tray. So, to be honest, all is well. It sits just fine with me having them removed. Though if you do have pain, it is best to... Well, you do need to see the dentist about something. So, what I do is I'd mention everything at that one appointment. Even though it is a bit of a pain for most dentists to kind of manage multiple problems in one appointment. But just let them know and I think they should take care of it. It'll probably be a year or two from now when the time comes. I won't worry too much for now. Yeah. That's what I think as well. Oh, I feel... So I'm going to have to wait until I know when to... Oh, a bus. Lovely bus. I'm going to have to wait until I know more, basically. About when I'm actually going to have them removed. And which way am I going? This way? Yeah. And then once I know, I can tell people happening on this date. And I probably won't be able to talk until this date, etc, etc. Because I couldn't really speak much when I had these ones removed. The ones that are missing. So, when I say that, I don't mean I'll just be disappearing off the face of the earth. It's just that if I am going to do a video, I probably won't be talking in it. So, I doubt it's going to be before the 4th of February or something like that. I doubt it's going to be that soon. Because to be fair, to get the appointment that I just had, the first one that I missed was all the way back in December. And because of the snow being inconvenient as all hell, came on the exact day that I was due to go in. So I couldn't go in. So they rescheduled it, and wouldn't you know, it snowed then as well at the rescheduled appointment. But the rescheduled appointment was about over 2 or 3 weeks later. So I imagine it's going to probably take a while before they get in touch with me about this, and even then I don't know whether it's going to happen at my local dentist or at the institute. Usually it's the institute. But if my local dentist is prepared to do it, then fine, because it's a lot closer than the institute, which is all the way in the middle of Leeds, which is a pain in the arse to get into and a pain in the arse to get out of. It's like London, but it's quieter. Never actually been to London, and I don't plan on going. I think it would probably drive me insane. I think London is a city that would drive me insane. Manchester as well. I thought, how the fuck do you get around here? Which bus do you take to go to where? Which train do you take to go to there and there? It would drive me insane. And London is massive. It's a heck of a lot bigger than just Big Ben, and that's it. No, there's a lot more. We are coming up on Redcar Central, and once I finish this whole journey I will be probably ending the stream because it is very late, and I've been up since 11 o'clock today. Seems like a busy place. London is... it's very very large. Its problem the problem with London is you can't really get rid of anything. Because it's such an old city, everything that's old, and I do really mean old, has to stay. Everything that is new has to be built on top of things that are already there. So before we had the London Underground, we had just sewer pipes everywhere. I don't know how many sewer pipes or how many miles of sewer pipes there are, but I'm going to guess there's quite a lot. And that's probably what makes it so difficult to get around London, is because they have to plan around everything that's already there. So they can't just say, oh, we're going to dig a new tunnel and put a new underground network route from, I don't know, Enfield all the way to... trying to think of a London borough. From Enfield to... why can't I think of it? Enfield to... Croydon. Right, Croydon. They can't just say, oh, we're just going to put in a new tunnel. Just dig a tunnel underneath London. No, we might hit a sewer pipe built in the Victorian era. Well, look, another train. Oh, another 2CAT coming the other way. Not that you ever see an American train on a British railway, but even so, this is just a video game, and I planned it that way, so I've only got myself to blame. But no, it is a pain to get around. Probably going by taxi is the best way around it, although then you are going to get stuck in traffic, and there is a lot of it. I do believe there's also a load of I believe they had a tunnel especially for dead bodies to go to some place. I believe there's a special tunnel where they used to transport all of them from the days when an outbreak of anything wouldn't go down very well. And I believe that is when they sort of thought about, how are we going to get rid of all the people who are dead? We can't just keep burying them, because London is expanding so fast because everyone's moving here. This was a long time ago. We can't just bury them in this patch of land, because next year this patch of land, someone might build a house on this patch of land. And because of burial rules, we can't just dig it up. So we need to think of a way to sort this problem out. I believe that's how the story goes. I might be so tired I'm just rambling and making stuff up. But I'm pretty sure they had a tunnel and some sort of rail network for things like bodies, as well as everything else that London needs, like, I don't know, mail. Yeah. Why have I been talking about London for about, I don't know how long? I am really tired though. If I could actually sleep in the chair that I'm sitting in, I would. Let's stop here and we'll move off again very quickly. Oh, rolling backwards. Because it's interesting. If you want to find out about it, I'm sure there's plenty of videos online that can explain it a lot better than I can. I may visit one day, but I don't know why. Something game related also would have to be out there. I think London would have a lot of conventions that you could go to. Other than that, not entirely sure. There is a AC something or other. I'm sure they have conventions, so... Now on to Saltburn, where I'll be finishing up for the day. Might do a little bit of something else though. Just depends. Hold on a moment. Right, I'm back. I do think that London will get a lot of conventions, gaming conventions included. So I imagine that there'll be something somewhere in the UK where you can go visit, and I know that there is actually a museum. There is a museum for games, I think. Not entirely sure. Gaming and gaming computers. There is a museum, I think, somewhere in the UK. I'm not 100% certain on where it is, but it is quite amazing. I've seen it in a video from, I think it was Ashens who was doing that. I think he visited it once in one video, sort of like an advertisement for it. Don't know why I'm slowing down for too much. Don't really need to go this slow. Not yet, anyway. Love Ashens. Well, so do I. And I believe that's what he did. And if I can find the video, I'll link it to you, but I can't guarantee. It may be from the name of the place itself. Where he starred in it, and I watched it and I thought, you know what, all those exhibits I'd love to take a look at. They have some interactive stuff as well, I think, that you can go and do. Focused on old gaming computers like the ZX Spectrum and the Sinclair. I think Sinclair made one. BBC Micro, I think, was another. And then they probably have stuff right up to the modern day in the museum. So I guess you could go and visit that if you really wanted to. And I'll do a quick Google search when I stop to find out where that is, and even if it does exist at all, because I am so tired at the moment I may just be talking out of my bum. Oh hey look, there's a tube train that I set to go, but I seem to have beaten it. Shows that I need to update my timetable a bit. I do need to stop here. Yeah, there's a buffer there. Ooh. There we go. There we are. That was the whole of Darlington to Saltburn. And I'll work out how long everything took me afterwards, but that was 49 minutes. Hello, welcome Danny. I'm just about to do a Google search to try and find out whether a gaming museum exists in the UK or not. Is it that one? Museum of Gaming, what? Is it that one or is it not that one? Yeah, I'm not sure which one it is. Ah. Okay. I remember now. So there's one for It's for computers. There is a National Gaming Museum in Sheffield, which is actually closer to me than it is to London, much closer. I'll drop the link for the computing one. That is the one that Ashens did in a video where he went through a bunch of boxes of old computers. There's supposed to be games in there as well. They've got consoles and stuff. I do hope you can actually visit that website in the US. If you can't, I'm sorry about that. Right. There's also a National Video Game Museum, which is going to be closed at the moment because of the pandemic. But I'm not sure what's in this one. Good that it lets you. I'm not sure how good any of these places are. I haven't been to them. National Video Game Museum there, which is in Sheffield, which I have actually been there before, but I haven't been to that specific place because A, I didn't know that it existed, and B, I've never really gone around Sheffield. Apparently got a 4.5 rating on TripAdvisor out of 5 stars, so the Micro Museum, what the hell is this? Micromuseum.org, yeah, well where is it? That's a good question. See, visit. I would like to. The Micro Museum in Kent. Fucking Kent. Alright, well maybe that's a nice place as well. Right, those are the two gaming related things that I can think of. As far as conventions go, I don't think they're going to be advertising, so I won't be able to find that out just yet. I'd just wait until all this blows over and then try and look. Oh. Right, I will do one more thing tonight, I think, because I am that tired. It's one of these that I need to do. Which one is it? Now I'm working that one out. Got that one. 2010. Ah, this is the one that I edited. Right. I guess what I'll do is I'll do this one, but I'll change it around so that I'm closer to where we need to be. Let's change it around temporarily. I need to remember to reset this. See for yes. Thank you. 377. Thank you. And this is the one that I'm going to be driving. Although the times are going to be messed up. I'll start from the beginning instead, as intended, because otherwise the timings are going to be completely messed up. Nope. platform thing. All good. 377. Marvellous. Let's have a go with this one instead. I don't know, if you want advice on where to go when visiting the UK, I know a little bit. Please avoid Manchester. Anywhere but Manchester. For some reason I've just never liked Manchester, and I don't know what it is about it that bugs me or bothers me. It's like Leeds, but it's fake. It's an older city than Leeds, but it doesn't feel as good or as pleasant. Yeah, I'm coming, don't worry. There we go. Driving the 377 again. I will hopefully have another train to drive by the time the next DLC drops. But by another train I basically mean it's the same thing as this, it just has a few slight differences, but I'll also work on... Why am I here? Oh, different thing. I just didn't expect to start from here. So yeah, I'll have a different thing to drive. It will basically be the same as this thing, except it'll have a different colour scheme, a different number associated with it. But the good news is it will be in the livery editor, which means I can come up with some different colour schemes for it. It would take some time for me to do that, but that kind of spices it up, I guess. It is a bit of a shame that you can't really, there aren't that many features to the livery editor, which I'm kind of disappointed about. Turquoise. Well, this thing's turquoise. More of a greeny... I don't know what colour that would be. It's a very nice colour scheme. Already. The one that we're getting in the update will be... well, in the DLC that I have to pay for. Mint colour. Mint colour is very nice. The one that we're getting in the DLC is dark blue and yellow, which is the colours of... Thank you, DSD. The colours of Southeastern, the rail service. And I'll even have a high-speed train to drive. And both of that I will cover in the video, the stream that I'll be doing for that. Which will happen as soon as I get my hands on it, and as soon as it's downloaded into the console. Thank you, DSD. Don't think I'm going to be going that far with this journey. I'm heading into Brighton. and there'll be hopefully other trains coming our way. There's one. Don't know what it is, but it will be a train. I'll come up with some other liveries. And I don't think it uses hex codes either. It uses some system for determining sort of shading on the colours. But other than that, if you want to suggest a colour scheme that I could put it in, hex codes is out as an option. I do also apologise if I'm rambling because I don't know what I'm saying, I'm that tired. That red signal shouldn't be for me. Yeah, I've got a green. You're good. Am I? Thank you. Nobody wants to get on the train? Okay, probably a good idea. I also don't know what the point of having first class is, so let me just... Right, that's first class. We'll get to ride at the front of the train, which means this is second class, I guess. So I guess first class passengers get, I don't know, fancy chairs and fancy tables? Wowie. Wow. They'll probably get something like Wi-Fi though. Or very good Wi-Fi. Because yes, there's Wi-Fi on trains now. I think when I was growing up and the first time I went on a train, no, there wasn't any sodding Wi-Fi. No, you just look out the bloody window. To be honest, I didn't really want Wi-Fi then. I was living in a world of my own where I didn't even know that Wi-Fi existed. I didn't even have access to the internet until I was, what, 10, 11? Younger? Maybe a bit older? We knew what the internet was, we just didn't have it. It's not like the whole country didn't have it, it's more to do with we specifically didn't have it on and didn't need it. We were living in a world without it. And now, oh, but it's got to have Wi-Fi if it's a bus or a train or it's a plane or it's something where you have to sit down. Oh no, you need Wi-Fi. Can't look out the window, no. I need my Wi-Fi. And then people will complain if it hasn't got Wi-Fi. If you're like a cafe or a restaurant in 2021, it's like, why haven't you got Wi-Fi? Good question. How about why do you need to work on your laptop when you've got an office at work where you can do that? Oh, there's a train coming. Well, we'll watch out for that. Should be coming at some point. I was like 7 or 8 when I first knew about it. It was terrible back in the day though, with paying for it. I imagine so. Do you... Hold on a moment. Alright, I've returned. That noise was me, because my Coke can has decided to stick to the coaster that I'm using. That's rather annoying. Right. Crisis over. Okay, now I've had a drink and I'm back to sitting down. I can continue, and I think there's a train that's probably going to be coming towards us, unless I missed it. No, I think that's it. Coming along now. What is it? One of the Deutsche Bahn electric ones. Speeding up a bit. So, yeah. I've lost my train of thought. Train, I'm here all week, unfortunately. Well, basically. So I didn't have the internet until I was, what, 11, 12, 13 sort of time. It's a good thing. I'm glad it exists. If it didn't exist, I wouldn't be able to play this game, I wouldn't be able to stream it, I wouldn't be able to talk to anyone. Because I'm a lonely bastard. In real life. But that's fine, because that is how I've always been. I am terribly antisocial. I don't really want to talk to anyone. People online, yeah, sure. Why not? But people in real life, unless they're nice people, nah. Nah. I like to think I could get along with some people. It's just that most of the time it doesn't end up working. If you like it that way, then that's great. Wonderful. Oh, here comes another train. Same as ours. Oh, if you see that rail at the side of the track, important public safety announcement, don't touch that rail. Thank you, DST. Don't touch that rail. There's a very good reason for that. And I won't say what it is. I'd like you to guess. Just to see if you already know, because I'm not aware of how many people know not to touch it. And I don't know how many people have touched it in the past and have unfortunately paid the price. The two rails at the side, they're completely fine. So it's this third one here. These two, you can touch these if you want. Obviously not while the train's barreling towards you on them. I wouldn't recommend just standing in the way of a train. The train will always win. I have over 100 tons of force behind me, and I don't know how many kilonewtons or meganewtons or whatever we measure force in these days. but I imagine I have quite a lot. Hint, it's how the train is powered. That's a hint. You'll see that we've got this here. That's how I'm getting my power. That's how this thing is moving. If you haven't got it yet, it's electrified. So this third rail here, and never touch this third rail. It's electrified, and yes, it's very high voltage. It's how the train is being powered. Trains get their power from 3 different ways. Either they have a diesel engine that provides the power, like a car would burn fuel, or they have a third rail which is electrified, and that's how they get the power. They have things called shoes which attach to the rails and get the power from them, or they have a pantograph and they get it from a catenary, which is overhead wires, which you should also never touch, because you'll be fried to a crisp. Here comes the train though. There we go. Yeah, don't touch that. That's an important public safety announcement. Another public safety announcement: if you have a dog or a cat or anything where you are going to go outside and take it for a walk — I don't know if people have to take their cats for a walk, but whatever. If you are going to take your dog or other animal for a walk and they stop on a railway line, for God's sake, stay the hell where you are, because the dog will move out of the way. A poor girl who was about 16, 17 years of age was out walking her dog at the railway lines that are nearby to me. She crossed over the crossing, as you do, and the dog strayed onto the line. And instead of standing there and staying where she was, out of the way of a train, she went onto the line trying to get the dog off of the tracks, and then a train completely sideswiped her. The dog was fine. In fact, the dog went home on its own, and that's how they knew something was wrong, because the girl obviously didn't come back. So if you are going to walk your dog near a railway line and it strays onto the track, do not, for the love of God, wander onto the track. Leave it there and it will move, because it can sense the train coming before you can. And it can move a lot faster than you can. And I imagine the driver needed a lot of therapy after that. And I have been to that crossing many a time before. I used to go down there a lot, just to see, you know, the railway and everything like that. I used to go down there a lot to that exact crossing where she was unfortunately killed, and I think that was fairly recent. And yes, they do still have flowers out for her. And I don't really see a lot of public safety films about being safe as far as trains are concerned. So that's why I'm telling you guys today. Because I don't think anyone's ever tackled that problem and knows that it is a problem. It's a true story. And if you're ever in that situation yourself, the same applies with roads as well, streets and whatnot. Just don't go out there, because 9 times out of 10 the dog or the whatever you're keeping as a pet will move out of the way. And in that case the dog obviously did move out of the way. Unfortunately she couldn't move fast enough out of the path of a speeding train. And the driver couldn't stop in time, and I don't blame him, because even in a simulator game there's no way he's stopping in time. If you could just imagine she's in front of us, I'm going to put on full braking. I'm still going. I'm still going. I believe the limit around that area is 70 miles an hour. So by the time that he realises that she's on the line and she can't move out of the way, there's no way in hell he can stop it in time. Because if I can't do it in a video game, he can't do it in real life. I know it's terribly tragic. But I've never seen a public information film that warns about that. They always say, oh yeah, look both ways before you cross over. Yeah, okay. But they never say something like, oh, don't just go out onto the rail line if you've got a dog and they're not moving from it. As I said, 9 times out of 10, they will be fine. All you have to do is just stand there. And if they're not fine, at least you as a 16 or 17 year old haven't just been killed by a speeding train. They are quite dangerous things if you get in the way of it. Yeah, I'd never been in a situation like that myself, because I would know not to do something like that. To be honest, I wouldn't take my dog for a walk if I had one near any railway lines or any major roads. And I'd always have the dog on a lead, and I imagine she didn't have it on a lead or a leash in America. And it's just, yeah. As for the thing with the third rail, I don't know how many people have been injured or killed by that. But yeah, if you see a railway line and you count 3, 6 or any number that's a multiple of 3, don't cross there. Use a proper crossing point like a bridge over. When I say it's electrified, I don't know by what means it's electrified. I don't know if the entire rail is or it's just along the side. But I'm just going to say, because it's made of metal and electricity loves to go through metal, just don't touch it at all. I also say don't touch overhead wires. Overhead wires are very hard to touch because they're so high up. Although if you find yourself, I don't know, throwing a shoe onto the lines, or I don't know, getting a coat hanger, a clothes hanger, something like that, I don't know. Just don't do it. I believe there was an advertisement recently about that, and that was quite... I wouldn't show it to a patient who has... I wouldn't show it to a particularly jumpy person. That, I believe you call it a commercial. I wouldn't show that to somebody who's very jumping. But just don't mess about with stuff that's not meant to be messed about with. Please, thank you. And the railway is best enjoyed from a safe distance, which is usually in the UK behind that yellow line. If the train stopped in front of you, yes, you can go over the yellow line and then get onto the train, but don't where it's considered not safe, and where a part of the train could, in theory, knock you off your feet. And you should always assume every train is over 100 tons in terms of weight. And try and imagine 100 tons of weight travelling at 70 miles an hour. How much force that would give. I'm not necessarily sure what that would do to a human being. It would probably kill them instantly. By what means and what horrible way in which that would happen, I'm not entirely sure. I don't really want to find out. I just tell people, be careful, please. I don't know what I'd do if I was in the situation the driver was in. I don't know what I'd do. I imagine he might feel quite suicidal after that. But to kind of lift everyone's spirits, it is quite rare that accidents like that happen. It's very situational. And in reality, I think a lot of people are a bit smarter about safety, I think. I've driven 233 miles along that line. It's not that actually that long, but that's how much is combined. Yeah, one final thing before I head off. You can ask me questions and things like that if you want to. I don't mind that. You're good for now, excellent. It's really good. I'm going to drive a Class 101 in the London Underground, which I've actually done before in a separate video, but I'll do it again. just so I have something to do whilst talking for this last part. Shouldn't take us that long to do this. I say that and it probably will take a while, but whenever it's appropriate I'll end things. Turn it to release. Forward. Gear 1. Ah yeah, the circuit key. And we're rolling. I'm not really supposed to drive this thing down here. And if I find the cab switch, where is it? Panel light. Should be a switch for the lights in here somewhere. They're above the doors, I know that. I'm trying to find them. Ah. Window, what's that one? Ah. There we go. Perfect. Yes, I am changing gears in a train. Why exactly they made this one have gears, I do not know. I should probably try and look that up at some point. Because it's very strange for me for a train to have gears. Like you would get in a car. And yes, we are in the London Underground system. And this is what it's like. So bear in mind this is just one section of one... This is one part of the whole underground network which is actually quite separate from each other. This is the Bakerloo line. Named so because of Baker Street and Loo, Waterloo, which is a borough of London. And there are about 36 London boroughs in total. And no, I don't know about all of them. I know a couple of them, I just don't know all of them. I know of Enfield, Croydon, Kensington and Chelsea. There's City, which is technically its own thing. Westminster. Camden, I believe. Oh. 5 brakes. Right, release and go into reverse. Just barely got it. I should turn it back to lap, if I'm completely honest. Forward. Why have I applied it? Yeah, I really am tired. Boroughs of London. I don't know if Battersea. It's a bit difficult to say because of my accent. But it's not, it's Battersea. Obviously there's Waterloo. Nine Elms. Vauxhall. A couple of others. Well, quite a lot more. I can't really remember them all. And I don't think anybody who is even an expert on UK geography probably wouldn't be able to remember all of them without some serious research. But there are multiple underground lines. It's like the New York City subway, except probably much more confusing. And same probably for any other city in America that has a subway system. And I don't know which ones do and which ones don't. I know Chicago has an elevated system. And to an extent so does New York. Oh, the next station is Baker Street, is it? Okay. How do I cheer you up? Because I've told you such a tragic story. Tragic story. I feel like I need to because I don't like telling tragic stories. Because it can affect people even though they don't actually know more train facts. You want more train facts? So this one obviously has, you're just suggesting to a new diet. What's the diet? Also, train facts. Oh yeah, so one of the trains that is upcoming, there is one in the DLC that I'm getting and one that is going to be released later on separately. The train has a pantograph and shoes for the third rail. So it uses both systems of power because the line has those two systems of power on it. And when we are on the high speed lines, we'll be using the overhead lines to achieve that power. And we'll be using alternating current for that. I had to stop drinking something because it kept causing me severe heartburn, so I'm trying to avoid acidic stuff now and adding yogurt. I say yogurt. Okay, I know you say yogurt, but I say yogurt. So just understand that I'm saying exactly the same thing. It's just said differently. Yeah. So it uses both systems of delivering power from the third rail and also the catenary overhead. But the catenary will stop at some point. So sometimes in real life trains might have to change over from one power system to another, and when they do that they go along a section which is neutral in terms of charge, as in there's no electricity passing through it. This happens in, for example, the route TGV or LGV Marseille to Avignon, which is another route that I'm interested in, but I might not pick that one up until later on, where you will be driving a high-speed TGV, which stands for something in French. I'll look up. I know what two letters of it stand for, but as far as what all three of them are. Train à grande vitesse, which means high-speed train, literally translated from French to English. I believe train is pronounced tran in French. Train à grande vitesse. Ho ho ho. Can you tell I learned French at school? No, you can't, because I can't remember any of it. So, what happens in the TGV is you have to change over from alternating current to direct current. So in the region of Marseille, the current passing through is DC, which is a lot more sluggish than LGV, which is for the rest of the line. So to change over the power you have to first disconnect the circuit breaker, and then you have to lower the pantograph down, and then you pass through a neutral section of overhead wires, at which point the train will get no power because there's no power coming through the lines, it's neutral. So you have to go at a decent enough speed in order to pass by the neutral section, and then you'll be alerted with a board at the side of the track telling you it's fine to raise the pantograph and re-engage the circuit breaker to actually get the power again. And from that moment on you're running on LGV. And LGV will also switch the control mode of the train. So what happens in high-speed trains, at least in Europe, the train that we will be getting in the next DLC uses this system as well. It's called TVM. TVM is essentially a flashing board on the desk which gives you the speed limit that is upcoming. The reason why it gives you the speed limit is because it's connected to things in the track that tell it what the speed limit is, and it tells you as the driver what the speed limit is, because when you're going at over 100 miles an hour you can't actually, your eyes aren't fast enough to read any information that's coming up on the boards at the side of the track, so instead it gets a machine to do it for you, and then it tells you what the speed limit is, and it tells you how to properly slow down or speed up. And that's what TVM is. It's just a message board that's on the dashboard of the train. But you'll only need to use that on the high speed sections, otherwise it's perfectly fine, you can read it from the boards. And TVM won't be any use if you're not on the high speed line. It won't tell you anything unless you're in the right place at the right time. And if that makes sense, then that's great. I'll just show off all this stuff when we get to it. The alternating current that's passing through the wires is actually a lot more powerful than DC power, which is coming through the rails. And when you switch over to the DC power, you notice that the train is a lot more slow. it takes longer to get up to speed. But on AC Zoom, it's just wow. AC is obviously a lot more dangerous than DC, I think. Actually I might be wrong on that. I think alternating current is a lot safer to an extent. No electricity passing through anywhere with a high voltage and a high amplitude is good. But still, I think alternating current is supposed to be safer because it alternates between two different levels of current that's actually passing through, whereas DC is always just one current all the time. And I don't know if Americans use a different... Do you use alternating current or direct current? It's probably direct. But on the basis that you're Mr. Thomas Edison, I believe, decided to do experiments using alternating current, I wonder, because Thomas Edison is an American, whether he decided, oh hey, we should all use alternating current now. Even though he stole most of his innovations from other people who were much cleverer. But once again, I'll look that up. Don't want to give wrong information. Also, fun fact, the developers do work with the train operators that own the rights to the logo and such, as far as the train goes. So when the developers of this game are working on LGV Mediterranee, which is the one set in France with the TGV, they had to work with SNCF, which are it's the French National Network railway operating people. And I believe that SNCF is a very good company, and French railway networks run pretty much on time most of the time, unless they're on strike, which sometimes knowing the French, maybe they are, though the British network for railway is a lot worse in terms of being late. I don't mean to say this next statement is definitely hyperbolic, but in the Japanese railway network, what ends up happening is if you're a few seconds late, I think if you're 30 seconds late to your destination, what will happen is they will tell you, we're terribly sorry, we won't charge you anything, and we'll give you a letter to show your boss to explain why you're late into work. If you were 30 seconds late in the UK and you complained about it, they'll tell you to fuck off. I don't even think they probably won't apologize. They'll passively apologise, but they won't actually give you a slip to say the train was late to the stop. This is why, I don't know. This guy was late into work. I imagine that some people, if a Japanese railway driver came 30 minutes late to a stop, he would probably dismiss himself from the company without pay, because he feels that he's failed that much. Japan is very, very efficient with its railway lines. Very efficient. It's scary how efficient it is. And I sort of wish that we in the UK could get somebody from Japan to just show us how to improve the railway network. Just anybody. Like, I don't know, half an hour and we'd already be a lot smarter with the railway network than we are now, but Japan is incredibly good with it. Incredibly good. Though I forget the name of... And over here in the US too. The US doesn't really have much passenger train traffic, and I don't get why. It's a massive country. I don't understand why you wouldn't have trains that go from state to state taking people along, or trains in cities taking people to, well, to work, really. I don't know if the issue is it's always late, or it's just nobody ever uses it, or it's underfunded, or something like that. It depends what the issue is, but I'm pretty sure the Japanese have everything covered. Now, as for whether they'll do a railway line in Japan for this game, I do not know. I am surprised that they haven't. Oh, we are coming out of the underground now. So I can actually speed up a bit, I need to, because I'm going up this hill. I'll be surprised if they never do a Japanese DLC for this game. Although, I'm gonna be honest right now, please, if they do end up doing that, I don't want it to be just a bullet train. I get that Japan is I get that Japan is known for the bullet trains and how fast that they go. But I really don't want an update to just figure that, to just be about that. I want the other ones as well. I know they don't just have the bullet train. I've seen the other ones before, the smaller commuter trains. Oh. Oh dear, oh well, never mind, I'm at the end. Does it matter? No, not really. Anyway, I'm watching. I can say for where I live it's pretty underfunded. I believe my state refuses to upgrade the system because environmental reasons. That applies to freeways as well. Environmental reasons? Environmental reasons? I think trains are very environmentally friendly, considering how many carriages of people that they pull. If you thought a bus was very good with how many people it can transport, you want to try a train. Though I understand that not everyone will use it, and it just depends on how accessible it is, because I know that if you want to commute in London on the train, it's fucking expensive. I think someone once said for a month of rail travel it's over £1,000. That's a grand, which I think is about $1,200. I think that's a... Did they say that's a month or a year? Either way, it's a lot of money. Like nature stuff. There's like nature groups that get in the way of progress. I don't know, that's what I'm told anyways. Well, to an extent I agree with nature groups. I don't agree that they should be protecting a tiny sliver of land to build a railway line on, because to be honest it doesn't take up that much space. It's just a strip of thing you're going to be digging up and placing the rails down in. Then obviously you have to route power to it if it needs it, or all the safety systems and all the sensors, but that's about it. If you're talking about building stations, I guess, but if it's in the middle of nowhere, which is the part that environmentalists protect, if it's in the middle of nowhere where there's nothing there anyway, there shouldn't be a station there. I also don't agree with people who refuse to have wind farms installed nearby, because I don't know, it makes a lot of noise. No, it doesn't make any. It doesn't make any fucking noise. I've been next to one. It doesn't make any noise. If it does make noise, you shouldn't be that close to it. You know? Wind farms, I mean. The giant wind turbine things. I thought, why are you getting in the way? Like, oh, I want to save the environment, but I don't want it to see it like a mile away from me. Oh, okay. Well, it just so happens that a mile away from you is where the best wind is in the country because of natural geography. So, if it was me, I'd just say, okay, I don't care, and build it there anyway. Who cares? We need it. But if we're going to be green, we need to be green. We can't just say, oh yeah, we need to save the planet, but I don't want to look at a wind farm. Do I care? I mean, it's either this or we find another solution. Take your pick. You can't have both. I also, if anyone tells you to do solar energy in the UK, just tell them to shut up, because the sun hasn't shone here since 1871. Alright, I'm exaggerating, but it really isn't sunshiny every day. It's not like California where it's really bright and sunny during, well, especially during the summer, obviously. It's not anywhere where the sun is going to shine for a long time. They're better off not doing solar energy here and focusing on wind and tidal, because that's something that we do have quite a lot of. But yeah, people are very stupid with that. As for the people who are moaning about we've got a railway plan that I don't agree with in the UK. It's called HS2, if you ever heard about it. HS2 is a special high-speed railway line that is supposed to go from Leeds to London. And I think it's really dumb, because it's costing, I think, billions of pounds to make. The only problem is it goes through people's houses that have already been built and that people have already been living in. So I don't know, 4 or 5 houses, maybe even more, would have to be demolished in order to just put down a railway line. And I understand why, because going over it would cost more money, going under them would cost more money, going through it is the cheapest option. But what I don't understand is, why would anybody in London want to come to Leeds? I get why we would want to go there, but to be honest, I think it takes 4 or maybe 5 hours by train to get to London from here. And HS2 would do it in, I don't know, 2 hours, I guess, half the time. But what's the point saving those 2 hours? I mean, if you had the 2 hours to spend, then you have the 2 hours to sit on a train extra. So I don't understand why we're paying 45, I think it's about 60 billion pounds now it's up to. I don't understand why we, the people who pay taxes, are paying 70 odd billion pounds just so a bunch of morons can save 2 hours on the train and go down to London from Leeds, or come up to Leeds from London. But who in their right mind is going to go to Leeds from London when London is the financial centre? And that's where lots of people will work. Also, if you live in Leeds and you need to commute to London, you're a fucking idiot and you need to move. I'm serious. some people might live many, many miles away from London, but not as far as up here. It's like, how much must you spend commuting by train to London if you live up here? You know, it would cost much less money if you rented an apartment in London and then you could walk to work. Or, you know what, if you can afford to live in London, go fucking live there. If you're not going to work for a local company who clearly need you to progress our city forwards, then you can fuck off down there. Not build a super fast rail network that costs us, the taxpayer, who don't go to work in London, so you can go down there yourself 2 hours faster. So what are those 2 hours going to buy you? Not much. You're going to spend that 2 hours basically doing nothing before you get into work. Or you could go to work 2 hours later and make it. So what? I'd rather sit on a train for 4 hours and, I don't know, maybe have a decent meal from the buffet car or something like that. I think, yeah, 4 hours is fine. It would take you longer if you went by car. You won't be polluting the environment by going in a car. The train will pretty much guarantee to be full, so it's using all the available space. And it takes 4 hours. If that. So what's the point spending 70 something billion pounds to solve a problem that isn't actually there? But as for other improvements to the railway, yeah, there's a lot that can be done, but I don't think building new things is a good idea. I think we can use the old system and make that work first, because the moment you add more things on, the less efficient something's going to work if you're doing a poor job. Yeah. I don't know where they got the money for that, and I don't know who signed off on it, but I think it's incredibly stupid of them. Yeah, anyway. That is near to where the... Yeah, I'm just going to save everything for the next DLC, for the relevant stream, so you can all see what I'm talking about. And I'm going to be spending a little bit of time planning ahead for future streams, which will hopefully... I'll hopefully do them when I'm not as tired as I am today. So, after 2 hours and, let's call it 14 minutes, I've finished the stream. I've done it a lot later today. I really should have just continued it earlier on. But yeah, that's the end of the stream. I do hope you all enjoy watching. Sorry for ranting and not making a lot of sense. And I'll see you in whatever stream I do next. I'm probably going to go to bed about 20 minutes after I finish talking. So yeah, but I'll probably speak to some people pretty soon. See you around, and bye bye. You're welcome.